Hi, this is Diane with Phil Sewing in Washington, Missouri. Today what we're going to work on and to show you is like really fun to me because, I never knew before that I could do the ribbon stitches in the hoop. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how it's done. Okay, so I don't know. I'm excited about it because to me, it takes a lot of I don't know. It just straightens my lines. I can do a straight line rather than an ever so curvy line. So with that being said, or I could do curvy lines as well. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you how this is done. So first things we're going to do, this is our embroidery side of the machine. Okay. Embroidery edit, as you can see, and I just want to prove to you that you can do this function in the hoop. So now I'm going to select my stitches category. Okay. In here is where I'm going to load my technique. So you've got all your basic stitches and you can bring the majority of them into your hoop and stitch them out on the embroidery side of the machine. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to select the first design in a category, and this is single ribbon stitches. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, hold it down, long hold brings it onto the workspace. Okay, we're going to move this over to the side, okay, so we can have a clear vision. Now in here, you're going to want to do more than one of the ribbon stitches. This is just one segment of a line. So what I'm going to do is under or down here in the bottom toolbar, I'm going to click on Sequence Creator. Once you're in Sequence Creator, now you have the ability to add more than one segment to your line. Okay, I'm going to go into Stitch Edit. Okay, in Stitch Edit, I can adjust the width, the length, and so forth, but I'm going to be adjusting the length by adding as many of these segments that will fit within my hoop. Now, I've already hooped up my stabilizer in the 260 by 200 hoop. Okay. And then I put a piece of just a 2.5-inch strip of fabric in the hoop. I did stabilize it as well. You need to stabilize it because you're adding extra stitches, and it gives it a real nice surface as well when you finish. Okay, when you see it finished. So up here on the top, I'm going to also look at my information guide. So my hoop is 260 by 200, so I know that that hoop is approximately 10 inches, okay? 10 inches long. So I want to make sure I stay within the, shy of the 10-inch mark, okay? So I'm going to watch this while I duplicate the stitches. Down here on my bottom toolbar, there is various commands. You can flip it right to left, whatever, but in this category or in this situation, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use my copy and paste. I can also do the trash can if I choose not to use that stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste. Notice up here how the stitch length grows. It's at 1.56 inches, 2.26. So what I'm doing is copying and pasting one segment of the stitch at a time. So it's up to 5.10. We'll go a little further. We'll go up to 6.52. So I think that's a good place to be. Okay, so I'm going to say okay to that. So I just want you to know, just utilize some of the different features on your machine. It sure makes life easier when you know how long the stitch is going to be under your information category and if it will work on your project. Okay, so I'm going to say okay to this. It sends me back to my embroidery edit screen. Now in here I have complete functionality of any of these tools that are down here. I can edit my design. I can do sequence creator. So if I figure or feel like this isn't long enough and won't fit in the hoop because it's too long, I can come back into Sequence Creator, and under the Stitch Edit, I can delete segments. So right here, if I decide I don't want this, I can delete one stitch at a time. Okay, one of those segments at a time. But I want more than this, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more segments, 2 or 3 segments, taking it up to 7.22. So I added one more segment than I had from the first time that I had added little stitch segments. So I'm going to say OK to it. And I know that this as well will fit in my hoop, because right here is my hoop, right there in the white line going around the design. Now I want to make sure, since I've already pinned my fabric to the middle of the hoop, I want to make sure that this is situated in the middle of the hoop as well. So I'm going to go to Edit Design, and I'm going to center it. Okay, so now that it's centered right in this dead center, 0.000 by 0.000. Okay, so it's centered in the hoop. So the little ball at the top, that's signifying that that's where the stitch will start, and it'll work its way down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close out of my edit, free it up so that I can see everything on my screen. Now what I'm going to do, next thing, is come over into my my palette. Okay, when you're using or bringing stitches in from the sewing side of the embroidery machine, or of your sewing and embroidery machine, they always come in as a black color. So at this point in time, you know, it's not necessary to change it, but for the sake of showing you how it's done, I'm going to go ahead and select it, and then go to change color. Then I'm going to go to my color wheel and make a little change here. Then when that comes popping up onto the screen, you're going to see how it's changed color. So that's kind of fun too, and it's probably necessary if you've combined this with other designs or other stitches and you want your machine to stop. So this is the indicator that your machine will stop by changing the colors. So like I said, I've got my fabric hooped, actually my stabilizer, and I pinned the fabric to the stabilizer. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's sew this out. So click on Stitch Out. I don't have to sort or merge or any of those fun things at this point in time. I do need to make sure that my hoop, the correct hoop, is selected, 260 by 200, and it is selected. Use my single plate, okay, needle plate. Go ahead and say okay to it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just attach the hoop to the machine. Wait till it clicks to make sure it's in there, and click OK. Now what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in here, and you're going to see how this is done. Now I'm going to thread my machine, and I've chosen a navy blue thread. I'm going to make sure it's situated in the discs up there. Go ahead and thread it one more time. And I've also selected my piece of ribbon. Okay, this is a 1/4 inch wide ribbon, so you can use various lengths of ribbon, widths as well. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the machine sewing. So it's all ready. I can open up any of my progress bars. Right here's my progress bar. It says it's going to take 3 minutes to embroider out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press a start. Okay, the machine is stopped. Stop command in design. What I'm going to do right now is, if you notice right here, there is a diagonal line coming from the top left going downward at an angle. Okay, that is showing you the placement of the ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and place my ribbon, just covering that line ever so slightly. And I like to hold it down a little bit, such as this. Okay, our second flower has been embroidered. The machine stops again. Go ahead, click OK to it. Now at this point in time, you're going to be rotating and positioning the ribbon itself. So you're going to go ahead, bring it back over. I kind of hold it in place. Go ahead, push the start button. Go ahead, fold it over again. Hold it in place. And fold the ribbon again. Fold it back over again. When you fold it, it stitches over that placement line. Like I said, this here is your placement line right here. And when you fold it over, it hides that stitching line. Go ahead and start the machine after it's folded. Repeat the action again. Just keep going with this until you've stitched out the total length for that design. Okay, continue doing your foldovers. Okay, so this is your ribbon stitch done in the hoop. And of course you have other opportunities within your design selection, but I think that, you know, it's a great way, you know, if you need a straight line, this is precise, because it just kept repeating that same stitch over and over and over until you have completed your line. Now, I just wanted to show you some of the different projects that I made using the ribbon stitch where it was embroidered in the hoop itself. So here, you know, it's great if you're using a combination of other stitches with it, and hopefully you can see this because it kind of blends into the fabric a little bit, but it's definitely a pink ribbon and then a green ribbon that I used down below here. And then I did a combination of other decorative stitches to showcase that center point. So, but it creates a straight line across, which I think is wonderful. Okay, this particular functionality would be great for doing borders on little girls' dresses, or the bodice of a little girl's dress, or any of your home deck projects as well. This one here is just a little pin cushion display that you can have at your machine. But anyway, it's you could use it for that. You can also use it for something similar to this for a table runner, you know, where you put, you know, just put it down the center, you know, perfectly straight stitch, you know, and so forth. But, you know, hopefully this will give you some ideas on how to use this particular feature in, you know, in the embroidery hoop itself. So I was excited when I figured out that I could use this ribbon stitch in the hoop. I think it simplified a lot of matters for me. Granted, you still have to turn your ribbon, but that's okay. You still have that straight line. That's what I liked about it, you know. So anyway, I would experiment with doing a double ribbon and also with a triple ribbon too, which are fun to do as well, you know. And I'm sure you've probably done some of those stitches on the sewing end of the machine, but it's nice to know that you can bring those stitches into the embroidery side of the machine, utilize that embroidered that embroidery unit, you know, which is great, you know. So anyway, I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and hey, and if you have any questions about this, don't hesitate in calling Annette or Larry at Phil's Sewing in Washington, Missouri. So thank you, and until next time.